Good Saturday morning to you. You're looking at the 7-day satellite animation over the past 7 days. And this is the Vermont Utility Outlook, the Local Weather Hazards Outlook that's valid the rest of today, Friday, through next Thursday, June the 11th. We're looking at an overall quiet weather stretch and a risk for a few thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening. Again, another low risk about Monday, and again along about Tuesday afternoon. Another risk will emerge, it looks like, along about Thursday toward the end of the period. Otherwise, we're looking at nice stretches of project weather through this weekend. Looks like the next best project weather day next week during the weekdays, along about Wednesday. Well, what we're seeing here is kind of the old weather pattern that produced a lot of thunderstorm activity, and then from that point on, things dried out. They just get a little bit of flare-ups, but things have moved a little bit further to the north in the central and northern plains. For us, some of that carries over some of the time. Other times, it has really not been a real problem for us. There's still somewhat of a stationary Bermuda high down here that occasionally will pump up moisture and have that move northward. Let's take a look at the current conditions here on this Friday, and what we see is temperature dew points basically in the 50s now. A little bit of sunshine, but some morning showers, very light sprinkles or light showers have already moved on through, and we're continuing to see a frontal boundary. This is what's going to be moving in for late in the day today. This may or may not be worthy of a sub-alert. It looks pretty thin and pretty limited. However, a little bit of sunshine will make the things just become a little bit unstable. Wind shear aloft looks like it's around 20, 25 knots, really not a big deal. And I'm not anticipating any wind damage associated with thunderstorms, but lightning will be a concern. I think it'll be isolated or widely scattered, moving into mainly northern areas and then working its way south and east during the evening hours tonight. As it loses instability, it'll wash out, and it'll set the stage for some better conditions, and those better conditions are showing up here with a lot of clearing skies north and west of the Great Lakes. And this is the area of higher pressure that'll be working in for this weekend, making for gorgeous conditions. This is the Water Prediction Center's 7-day quantitative precipitation forecast, or accumulated precip or rainfall, really for Vermont in our neck of the woods here. This is where it's going to be around, about an inch or so, maybe a little bit less than that in some spots. And it does look like it's a little bit less down into the middle Atlantic states now. We're looking at the main area of this precipitation really across the plains, and that works in toward the Ohio River Valley. And looking at the precipitation on the surface map here, we can see just a little bit of a frontal boundary kind of work on through Vermont here. This is the cold front. And I'm not really anticipating very much. You can see barely. We're talking into the 2/4 of an inch category of 6-hour precip. And then that washes out very quickly. High pressure builds in very nicely. That's going to make for a gorgeous weekend. Hope everybody enjoys that. And then we have our next customer coming in. This looks like the timing is a little bit ill-timed here. These winds, looking at these surface winds, the pressure gradient is fairly strong, but I think that it's really going to only be a Champlain Valley issue. But I think it's going to be under any kind of gradient wind thresholds. But something we'll keep a close eye on. Notice that kind of relaxes a little bit there as we get some precipitation in along about late Sunday night into Monday morning. Timing is not good for thunderstorms, but there will be some embedded thunderstorms and a little healthier shot of precipitation at that point in time. That system then works off to the east. However, there's a secondary disturbance on Tuesday that kind of lingers here, and I think it's a little bit of a colder pool aloft, and along with the slightly warmer surface temperatures that kind of advect in at the surface, that might make for just a tad more instability and touch off an isolated storm, but right now it looks pretty limited. Now, as we get into Wednesday, we have a little area of higher pressure building in for the next best project weather day, and then beyond that, looks like Thursday, we might see a little better dynamic here with another frontal system, although it does look like that moves through during the morning hours once again. The timing of these frontal systems right now, don't know if it's going to stay like this, but it does look like if they move through during the morning hours, we're going to lose a lot of the instability, and that will take a lot of the activity out of any kind of updrafts for thunderstorms. All good news there. Looking at convective available potential energy, or CAPES, or instability measurement here, really don't see a whole lot going on this evening. High pressure builds across the region. There's that tightening pressure gradient for Sunday night into Monday. And then we have just a tiny bit of CAPE here. Of course, this is during the morning hours, and really not too much going on here. A little bit north of the Canadian border here for basically late in the day on Tuesday. And then the high pressure builds in on Wednesday, no problems there. The next customer, it looks like, is going to be this very narrow, thin line of convective available potential energy or instability. That would be potential for some thunderstorm activity along about Thursday afternoon, but you can see that timing is not real good. Looks more like a southern New England issue at that point in time, but that could change, and we'll see how that works out. One of the other things I wanted to show is the precipitable water. So this is precipitable water valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We can see just a little bit of moisture here to work with. That's why we're going to see maybe in some places up to a quarter of an inch or a third of an inch of rainfall. And then drier air works in for the weekend with that area of higher pressure. That's illustrated by the browns there, very dry conditions. That'll set the temperatures down a little bit for tomorrow night, Saturday night into Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, we start to see the return flow with our next customer, and that's a little hepped up, a little bit better conditions here. We're talking almost 2 inches of precipitable water, and that might squeeze out slightly heavier precipitation, but it really, the timing of the day does not look like it's going to be very active. That moves on by. We dry out once again. An area of higher pressure builds in weekly for Wednesday, and then the next system comes in for Thursday, and that could be a little bit better situated here, but even that doesn't look like a big deal. One of the things I do want to show you, though, is that unfortunately for Texas, in this particular area, although it's a little bit offset to the east, they're about to get into some very moist dew point temperatures and high precipitable water, better than 2 inches. And you can see that with the pinks right there. And you can see what I'm looking at here. But we're talking about 9.5, 10 days out. But this is quite significant. And once again, I think there's going to be some flooding issues for Texas, but that's a long ways down the road. Maximum temperature anomalies show that it's going to be the warmest across the Pacific Northwest, parts of western Canada. A little cooler as you head north and east, and you can see roughly the zero line here. Everything to the north and east of that line, a little bit below normal, running about 3, maybe 4 or 5 degrees below normal here with our rain-cool conditions ahead and a cooler Saturday as colder air mass kind of slides out to sea. And about 3 days later, things improve. We're going to be 3 degrees up and with near normal temperatures across a wide area. So warm here, warm in the northeast, Ohio River Valley, and pretty much everywhere else is going to be situated with near normal temperatures. And temperatures, courtesy of the Iowa State Meteogram Generator. You can see highs today running about 70 to 75 in general, and overnight lows here down to around the 50-degree mark. A little bit cooler tomorrow. We're talking 60 to 65 on Saturday. Then a cool night, the coldest night we're going to see. I think it's going to be ending up in the upper 30s to low 40s in general. And the temperatures work back up near 70 degrees, and you can see a little bit of a model nastiness here, not really accurate, is that rain-cooled system that works on Monday with a potential thunderstorm embedded within areas of rain showers. And then we're back in the little bit of a mode of step laddering back up into the 70s, it looks like, for the rest of the week going into Thursday. Thursday could be the warmest day with temperatures around the 80-degree mark, maybe even surpassing that. So in summary, precipitation, this is centered on Burlington. You can see the shower and thunderstorm activity for this afternoon, Friday afternoon, and then once that in the evening hours and that moves out, then we get a nice little dry stretch, and then we're back into some shower and thunderstorm activity on Monday, a little bit on Tuesday, a bit of a drying trend on Wednesday, and then it returns basically on Thursday. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting.